Hello, this is Algebra topic 4-5. We're going to be talking about volume of prisms, cylinders, cones, and spheres. So before we were just talking about surface area, now we're going to incorporate volume. So volume measures the number of cubic units inside a three-dimensional object. And using our tax formula chart, it says that volume equals base times the height. And this capital B represents the area of the base. And so this is different from one prism to the next, but all cylinders have bases that are circles. Let's go ahead and take a look at example 1. First off, we want to name this. Well, this would be a rectangular prism. Next, we want to identify the base. Well, the base would be a rectangle. And I'm going to go ahead and shade what we're going to use as the base. The base is a rectangle. We want to find the area of that. Well, that's going to be 12 times 8, which is 96. And now our volume, which should be the 96 times the 3. Which equals 288. Now, if you're doing a rectangular prism, there are several things that could be the base. If the base is shaded, you want to use that. If it's not, you get to choose. I chose this to be my base. However, you could have just as easily said that this was your base. And then it would have been 3 times 8 to get this. And you'd have gotten 24 times the height of 12 would have still given you 288. Now for number 2, this is also a rectangular prism. However, I didn't write on the blank because more specifically, this is a cube. It's a special type of rectangular prism because all 3 dimensions are the same. So our base here would be a square. We could have said rectangle because squares are rectangles. However, more specifically, this is a square. And so to find that base, we need to do 4.5 squared, which gives us 20.25. And to find our volume, we're going to do the 20.25 and multiply that by our height of 4.5. And we get 91.125. And so that's for a rectangular prism and a cube. Let's go ahead and move on to the next page. Here we have a cylinder. Its base is a circle. And to find the area of that base, we need to do pi r squared. They gave us the diameter, so that means that our radius is 3. And they said use this and round to the 100th. So 3.14 times 3 squared gives us 28.26. And to find our volume, we take that 28.26 and multiply it times our height of 13. And we get 367.38. Moving on to example number 4. Well, this would be a triangular prism. I know this because it has triangles. These are the bases. So my base is a triangle. And to find the area of that, it's 1/2 the base times the height. Well, this is the bottom of my triangle. This would be the height of my triangle. So this is 1/2 of 3 times 3, which is 4.5. And for my volume, we take this 4.5 and we multiply it by the height of our prism, the height being the distance from one triangle to the next, which would be 8. So we multiply that by 8 and we get 36. Moving on to our next example. This is a rather long packet, because that was prisms and cylinders, and now we need to talk about cones. Well, the volume of a cone is 1/3 the area of the base times the height, where the capital B represents the area of the base. And all cones have bases that are circles, so we always use pi r squared for finding the area of our base. Now this says, small but bold, that we want to round to the nearest tenth. We of course need our radius of 5, because 10 divided by 2 equals 5. And let's spell this out. Well, this is obviously a cone. Okay. And then our base is a circle. So we need pi r squared, which is pi times 10 squared, which is 314. And then we're going to take 1/3 of 314 times our height of 18. So 1/3 times 314 times 18 gives us 1884. And so that's our cone. Moving on to the last page. Here we're talking about spheres. Well, the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So we want to find the volume of this sphere. So we want 4/3 times, leave in terms of pi, times our radius of 4 cubed. So 4/3 times 4 to the third gives us 85.3 repeating. Pi, which we can call 85 1/3 pi. And our last example. If our diameter is 12, then our radius will be 6. We want 4/3. This time it says use 3.14 times our radius cubed. So 4/3 times 3.14 times 6 to the third equals 904.32. And that's it. So again, all we're doing is deciding which formula to use, plugging in the numbers, and solving. Should be very simple. Good luck and have a good day.